Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea Tranquility. I'm your host, Pete Pardo, publisher and CEO of SOT. Today is Saturday, July the 21st. We are just steamrolling through July, steamrolling through the summer. And on that same note, tons of great releases coming out. That's why I'm coming back at you so quickly with more new release programs here, because the stuff just flying in, folks, and a lot of really good, notable stuff. So we're going to kick off today. Going to go a little out of whack. Normally we start off with brand new studio releases, and then we go to reissues, live albums, blah 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 blah. Today I'm going to start off with a live album by a legacy band, by a legendary band in the progressive rock realm. I'm talking about King Crimson. It's a new live album called Live in Vienna from 2016. In fact, December 1st, 2016 to be exact. With the recent configuration of the band, of course, you got the three drummers and Tony Levin. I'll go through the whole lineup momentarily, but Crimson has released quite a few live albums in recent years since they've been active again on the touring scene since 2013, 14 or so. So we've got this show. It's a 3-disc set, okay, and it contains the entire December 1st, 2016 show in Vienna, as well as a couple of tracks recorded at various other venues on that European tour that year, specifically from Florence and Barcelona. Where else? Yeah, from those places. And there are tracks that are not included on the regular set from the Vienna show, which is really kind of cool. So who do we have in the band at this point? So we've got Robert Fripp, of course, on guitar and occasional keyboards, specifically like Mellotron. We've got Jacko Jaksic on guitar and lead vocals. Jacko's been in the band for a while. He does an excellent job of recreating, the vocal styles of Greg Lake and John Wetton and Boz Burrell and Adrian Belew. Really nice job, but he doesn't mimic any of those guys. He kind of gives his own spin on their styles. Of course, Tony Levin on bass and stick. The incomparable Tony Levin. Mel Collins on sax and flute. Mel Collins, of course, was a member of the band starting in, around 1970, 71 or so. He played on those couple albums. I believe he's on Lizard and Island, I should say. We've also got Pat Mescalado on drums. Pat's been a veteran in the band for a while. We also have Gavin Harrison on drums, ex-Porcupine Tree virtuoso, as well as on this album we've got Jeremy Stacey on drums and keyboards. So if you've seen Crimson in this latest incarnation, it's kind of cool to see the three drummers out in front of the stage. Pretty neat. So anyway, so what do we got on this this live album? All sorts of stuff you can only imagine. I'm going to tell you. If you're interested in the classic, one of the things I really liked about this current incarnation of Crimson is that they have not ignored a lot of the original music from the late 60s and the early mid-70s, which, if you've been following Crimson for a while, especially the Adrian Belew years, so the 80s and most of the 90s, they didn't play a ton of really, really old material from those first few albums. Thankfully, this unit does. They do a nice sprinkling of all the eras of King Crimson, but very heavy on the old stuff. So, what do you get here? So, from the early days, you get Pictures of a City. What else? You get The Court of Crimson King, of course. Sailor's Tale. What else have we got here? Circus. Really, really great tune. Epitaph. One of my favorite King Crimson songs of all time. That Jocko nails the vocals with Mellotrons. It's awesome. Easy Money. Red, Lark's Tongues and Aspic Part 2. Starless. Okay. Fracture, 21st Century Schizoid Man. So really good stuff. But then again, you also get stuff from the Belew era, like The Construction of Light and Vroom and Indiscipline, which is very, very cool here. They played this live when I saw them a couple of months too as well. And then a whole bunch of really cool instrumental and improvisations, like Meltdown and what else we got here? Devil Dogs of Tessellation Row and Level 5, Radical Action, Hellhounds of Crim, all sorts of really cool stuff. But then, at the end, you get the Encore's Heroes, David Bowie's Heroes, as well as Schoenberg, Soften His Hat, Ahriman's Ceaseless Corruptions, and Splinta's Counterclaim. So again, some like cool improvisation soundscapes. All comes in a nice little digipack that opens up, obviously. Booklet's got all sorts of cool photos from the event. Very, very nice package. Great sound. Man, you can't go wrong with live King Crimson these days, right? So if you're wondering to yourself, man, do I need another King Crimson live album? Especially they've released like 4 or 5 in the last couple of years. Yeah, you do. This is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Seek it out. Okay, this is a first of a few recent Moon June Records releases that we're going to be covering over the next week or two. This is by a guitar player that warrants your immediate attention if you haven't already discovered this guy. If you're into Crimson, okay, if you're into classic Terje Ripdahl, if you're into Adrian Belew, if you're into Alan Holdsworth, maybe little bits of Vi, that sort of thing, you owe it to yourself to listen to Mark Wingfield's latest, which is called Tales from the Dreaming City. Instrumental, wonderful guitar work. This is basically a trio, so it's Wingfield on guitar and soundscapes, Yaron Stavi on fretless bass guitar, he's a monster player, as well as Asaf Sirkis on drums, also a monster player. Special guest Dominique Van Tome on synthesizer. We've spoken about him before. He's a wonderful player. He guests on a couple tunes on the air. This is great stuff. Moody, jazzy, avant-garde, slightly proggy. Guitar gymnastics extraordinaire, whether he's blazing all sorts of cool leads or whether he's wrangling that whammy bar to death or whether he's hitting you with some eerie soundscapes. This guy can do it all. He's got a great band. This is a killer trio, made even better with the addition of Van Tome on synths. Easily one of the best instrumental albums you're going to hear this year. Instrumental guitar albums, because it's pretty guitar heavy. So I dig it a lot. Check it out. Do not miss it. Okay, kind of sticking on that sort of jazzy thing. This is a great album by a veteran of the jazz fusion scene for many years and decades. I'm talking about former Weather Report drummer Peter Erskine and the Dr. Band. It's called On Call. This is hot stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Who's in the band, you might ask? Okay, in addition to Peter on drums and percussion, you've got John Beasley on keyboards. You've got Bob Shepard on saxophones. And you've got Benjamin Shepard on electric bass. 2 different Shepards, not related. You might have heard some of these guys' names before. They've popped up on the jazz scene quite a bit over the last bunch of years. Together, this is they make an excellent combo. This is an excellent album. You've got 2 discs here. One side, all new studio tracks. The other, live album recorded. Oh, where was this recorded at? I don't remember. Not that it matters. It's great. Ripping stuff. It's melodic. Kind of modern jazz-ish. In that it's very melodic. There's some smooth elements to it, but there's plenty of adventurous, ripping stuff a la the 70s jazz fusion scene as well as the 80s jazz fusion scene. Like, think Chick Corea Electric Band, Tribal Tech, that sort of thing, with bits of Weather Report and little hints of Return to Forever. It's quite good. So, another cool presentation here. So you get like nice booklet. Pictures of the guys in action. Yeah, I like this. This is really, really good. If you're a jazz fusion fan, you need to hear this. All right, switching it over to metal. 2 releases from the Cruz del Sur label. God, these guys always crank out good stuff, don't they? And I really dig these bands a lot. I dig both of these albums a lot. Both bands are from Indiana. The first is the debut from these guys are red hot. If you're into the new wave of British heavy metal sound from like the early 80s, okay, as well as that kind of onslaught of American U.S. metal bands from that same time period, think like Armored Saint, Liege Lord, little bits of Faith No More, not Faith No More, Fate's Warning, maybe a little bit of Omen, mixed with like Iron Maiden style galloping British heavy metal with the dueling guitars, a little bit of Priest too in there. Sacred Leather, Ultimate Force. This is good shit, folks. Like I said, galloping rhythms, fist-pumping anthems, plenty of dueling harmony twin guitars. Really good, strong, vocals reaching to the heavens, so to speak. It's like one anthem after another. I really dig it. The production's really good, and it reminds you, it just takes you back in time to like 1981, 82, maybe 83, that sort of thing. It's moody, it's heavy. It's just really good stuff. I dig this a lot. And if you like that kind of early 80s metal sound, you're going to really love these guys. Sacred Leather, Ultimate Force. Ultimately, it's a great album, and I am going to be watching these guys very carefully in the months and years ahead because I think we're going to hear a lot from them. Really, really good stuff. Another really good album. Apostle of Solitude. Okay? What is this? From Gold to Ash. Doom veterans. These guys have been around for a while. You've heard me talk about them before. Another really good Doom band on the scene. These guys have been. Their last couple albums have been really damn solid. So is this one. If you like kind of that early mid-70s Black Sabbath sound. Okay, it's moody, it's heavy, distorted guitars, cool, lead guitar work, really good vocals. Throw in a little bits of Candlemass. A lot of great riffs. There's not a lot of tunes on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Most of them are fairly lengthy, like 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes long. Steamrolling riffs, really well-placed vocals, catchy tunes, heavy, it's atmospheric. You're not going to get any of that kind of slow funeral doom here. It's all that kind of the mid-tempo thing with sledgehammer riffing. Great guitar. The production on the guitars is fantastic. Huge sounding record. There's the guys right there. If you haven't discovered Apostle of Solitude, I highly recommend you to check this one out. From Gold to Ash, their latest for Cruz del Sur. All right, that's it for the new stuff. So, of course, what are we left with? Forgotten Favorites, where we look at an album from yesteryear or maybe more present times that actually either was undiscovered, underground, never got its due, nobody cared, whatever, but I like quite a bit. And this is actually a fairly new discovery for me. And I love when I discover new stuff too. So this is a band formed in the late 70s out of Chicago. To my knowledge, this is the only album they ever released. It's from 1982. The band is called Winterhawk Revival. You can get this on CD. It's well worth it. So what's it like? It's classic late 70s, early 80s US hard rock and metal with a touch of prog. The best way I can describe these guys, and they're very good, they sound like that same era Rush, figure like late 70s Rush. So, maybe like the kind of Hemispheres, Farewell to Kings, okay, that era. Maybe not quite as epic, but like the guitar sound is similar. But throw in a little bit of Wishbone Ash dueling twin guitar solos, okay? That's what you kind of get here. So it's that kind of proggy, really hard rock and early progressive metal of Rush meets the twin guitar majesty of Wishbone Ash. Catchy tunes. Some of the tunes are really damn heavy and rocking and intricate. Some have a little proggy slant. It's just a really, really cool discovery for me. And I wish these guys had created more. I think they're still active, and I think they might have released something in more recent years, but this is going back to the early 80s. So if you've never discovered this, like me, till recently, check it out. It's got 7 tracks. Most of them are fairly lengthy, 4, 5, 7, 5, 6, 5, almost 10. Free to Live is the last song. It's almost 10 minutes long. Quite good. I dig it. Cool cover art, too. So Winterhawk Revival. Seek it out, folks. Discover something new. There's always something new out there you can discover. So make sure to go check out all this new stuff. Some really good things I talked about here today. Full reviews of everything on the website, www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the Mighty YouTube. We've got all sorts of stuff coming up. I've got more new product showcases that I'm getting ready to do over the next couple days to a week. Chris Allo and I are bringing you the Judas Priest History of Career Retrospective this week, recording on Tuesday. So we should have that for you either Tuesday night or Wednesday. And I'm plotting it. I may do it tomorrow. We'll see if I can squeeze it in. I'm plotting that no sophomore slump rant that I've been talking about. So in other words, bands who knocked it out of the park with their debut album and then released their follow-up that was equally as good, if not better, than the debut. Probably not a ton of those, but there's a good amount. So anyway, be on the lookout for that. So till then, Be safe. Investigate all this new music, and we'll see you next time. Take care.